Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking into a really compelling story. It's about the Kākāpō.
Ah, yes, the Kākāpō.
Yeah.
Often called the world's most endangered bird. It's quite the tale.
Exactly. We've got some fascinating material here, almost like a wildlife documentary script, actually. And our mission really is to unpack that journey.
Understand it's a tricky situation and the amazing efforts to save it.
Right. Pulling it back from the brink.
Yeah.
You know, the material starts by setting the scene. New Zealand forest, nighttime.
And then that sound, that deep, resonant boom.
Yeah. Echoing through the trees. That's the male Kākāpō's call. Kind of a lonely sound, isn't it?
It really is, a solitary call,
Yeah.
hoping a female hears it somewhere out there in the dark.
It paints such a picture, this kind of portly green bird just sort of waddling about.
Yeah, and for most people, hearing that boom or seeing one wild, well, that's just not going to happen realistically. It drives home how rare they are.
Definitely. So, okay, let's get into the specifics. What does this parrot actually look like? You said elusive. Is that down to its appearance, too?
Oh, absolutely. Their feathers are this incredible mossy green and yellow mix. Perfect camouflage for the forest floor.
Blends right in, huh?
Totally. And they have this quite distinct, almost owl-like face. Big, gentle eyes.
And those whisker things.
Yeah. Whisker-like feathers around the beak. People think they help them feel their way around at night.
Makes sense.
And here's the really unusual stuff.
Yeah.
It's the world's only flightless parrot.
The only one. And heavy, too, right?
The heaviest. A big male can weigh over 2 kilos. Quite chunky for a parrot.
Wow. Okay, so flightless, heavy, but they live a long time.
Incredibly long. Potentially 90 years, maybe even a bit more, if you get the chance.
Which is the tough part. Critically endangered status. What are the numbers now?
It's stark. Around 240 individuals left in the whole world.
Just 240, that's tiny. So fragile.
It is. And it means the genetic diversity is, well, it's a major concern. Keeping those lines healthy is as important as just boosting numbers.
Right. And every single one is under human protection now.
Every last one. They all live on specific predator-free islands. Sanctuaries, basically.
These island sanctuaries must be a massive job to maintain.
Oh, huge. Constant vigilance, making sure no predators get back in, managing the habitat so it supports them. It's nonstop.
So how did they end up needing this level of, well, intensive care? It goes back to New Zealand's history, doesn't it?
Exactly. Millions of years of isolation. No native land mammals as predators.
So the Kākāpō just evolved without that pressure.
Pretty much. Became a ground dweller, munching on plants, fruits, seeds. Perfectly adapted. It could climb trees really well, though, to get food.
And its defense against, like, ancient birds of prey.
Just freeze. Stand completely still. Blend in with the foliage. And it worked.
Until it didn't. The irony is brutal, isn't it? Evolving without fear made them so vulnerable later on.
Tragically so. And their whole breeding system. That didn't help either, once things changed.
Ah, the booming. Let's talk about that. It's pretty unique.
It's amazing, really. The males hike up to ridge tops, dig these shallow bowls in the ground, like little amphitheaters.
Natural acoustics.
Seems like it. Then they inflate this air sac and produce that incredibly deep boom, night after night, for months.
Months! That's serious dedication. Trying to attract a female.
Exactly. The sound carries for, well, up to 5 kilometers, apparently, broadcasting their location.
That's a huge energy investment. Does it?
Yeah.
Does it pay off often? What's the breeding success like?
Well, that's the thing. It's slow. Really slow. Females usually only nest in mast years.
Mast years?
Yeah, when certain trees, especially rimu trees, produce a massive amount of fruit. Happens maybe every 3 to 5 years.
Only then. Wow.
And even then, typically just 1 or 2 chicks hatch. Which was fine, in the old days.
But not equipped for sudden change. And change came. Humans arrived.
Right. First Polynesian settlers, around the 13th century. They brought the Kior, the Polynesian rat, and dogs.
So, new ground predators suddenly.
Yep. And Maori hunted them too, for food and feathers, understandably. The decline started then.
But it got much, much worse later.
Dramatically worse with European settlement in the 1800s. Massive deforestation, clearing land for farming.
And bringing everything else.
A whole new wave of predators. Ship rats, Norway rats, cats, stoats, ferrets. Animals the Kākāpō had absolutely no defense against.
And that freezing instinct.
Became lethal. Predators hunting by scent could just sniff them out while they stood stock still. Easy picking.
Just heartbreaking. Eggs, chicks, adults, all vulnerable.
Completely. By the mid-20th century, they were almost gone. People seriously thought they might be extinct.
But then, a glimmer of hope in the 70s in Fiordland.
Yes, a small population was found. Huge news. But there was a catch.
Oh.
A devastating one. Every single bird they found there was male.
Females at all? Oh, no.
None. It looked like the absolute end. Just these last old males booming pointlessly into the night. The fear was the sound itself would just fade out forever.
What a bleak picture. But wait, then Stewart Island happened, right? 1977.
Yes, just when things looked utterly hopeless. Researchers found another population on Stewart Island, Rockura. And this time...
Females.
Yes, females were there. It was unbelievable. A second chance. A fragile one, but a chance.
Phew. Okay, but Stewart Island wasn't safe either.
No, unfortunately not. The big problem there turned out to be feral cats.
Cats. Devastating them.
Massively. Reports suggested they were killing more than half a known Kākāpō each year. It was an emergency.
A race against time, literally.
Absolutely. So in the 1980s, the decision was made. Catch the survivors from Stewart Island, get them out of there.
To those predator-free islands.
Exactly. Codfish Island, Wanuaho, Anchor Island, and others. Carefully moved, creating these safe havens.
And by 1995, they'd moved all the known ones. How many was that?
Just 51. That's all that were left in the entire world by then.
51 birds. Incredible.
And that's when the official Kākāpō recovery program really kicked into high gear. A dedicated, intensive effort began.
And intensive sounds like an understatement.
Oh, it really was. Every single one of those 51 birds got a name. Fitted with a radio transmitter.
Tracked 247.
Pretty much. Constant monitoring. Every bird, every nest attempt. The teams got to know their individual quirks, everything.
And they started helping them out more directly, too, like with food.
Yep, supplemental feeding became crucial, especially in those non-mast years when natural food was scarce. Helped keep the adults healthy and ready to breed when conditions were right.
Using cameras on nests, too.
Remote cameras, yeah. So they could watch nesting mums without disturbing them, see if chicks needed help.
And sometimes they did step in, hand rearing.
Absolutely. If a mother had too many chicks to cope with, or if an egg was abandoned, they'd bring them in for hand rearing or use artificial incubators, maximizing every single chance.
They were even trying things like assisted mating to help the genetics.
Carefully selecting pairs to boost genetic diversity, trying to avoid inbreeding, even looked into artificial insemination, just pulling out all the stops.
And did it work? Did the numbers start to climb?
Slowly, yes, but steadily. By 2009, they broke the 100 mark, which felt huge.
From 51 to over 100, that's progress.
And then they had some really bumper breeding seasons. One year, I think it was recently, they had like 46 chicks hatch. Unprecedented.
46? Wow! So where are we now, population-wise?
Today, we're at around 240 Kākāpō.
240? It's way better than 51.
It's a massive increase, nearly fivefold since 1995. It really shows what dedicated conservation can achieve. But yeah, it's still a tiny number globally.
Definitely still critically endangered. What are the biggest hurdles still, do you think, to get them truly secure?
Well, genetics is still a big one, managing that diversity. Finding enough suitable, safe habitat is another. And ultimately, the goal is to get them back to the mainland safely.
And there was a step towards that recently, wasn't there? A mainland reintroduction.
Yes. Huge news in 2023. A small number of Kākāpō were moved to a fenced, predator-controlled sanctuary on the mainland. The first time in nearly 40 years.
A trial run, essentially.
Exactly. Closely monitored. But it's a really hopeful sign for the future, maybe one day seeing them back in their ancestral forests more widely.
It's vital to remember they're still on that knife edge, though. The future isn't guaranteed.
Not at all. It relies completely on the ongoing work. The conservation teams, the Maori guardians, Gaitahu, the volunteers. Their dedication is everything.
But what a story of resilience and hope, really.
Absolutely. It shows, as the source material says, that extinction isn't inevitable. With knowledge, passion, perseverance, you can turn things around.
And their survival feels bigger than just one bird species, doesn't it? It's symbolic.
Definitely. A symbol of hope for other endangered species globally. Proof that it's possible.
That booming call coming back from the brink, it's like hearing the heartbeat of the wild getting stronger.
That's a lovely way to put it. It's a sign of recovery. The sound we almost lost forever.
So the ongoing story, it's inspiring. It reminds us we need to protect biodiversity, right?
It really does. And it shows that even species facing the bleakest odds can be given a second chance if we choose to act.
That deep boom echoing again in the New Zealand night. Let's hope it keeps echoing for a very, very long time.
Absolutely. A sound worth fighting for.